This is a bizarre glitch where an elite sticks himself with a plasma grenade. This happens when enemies, specifically elites, in Warzone Firefight hijack a vehicle, but apparently have no programmed actions to take when they're in the vehicle.
$3.24 a pack because you have to factor in tax, so that equals $1,101.60.
Microtransactions in Halo, they got no place in the game. They're just solely based on greed, and Microsoft shouldn't be supporting that. And I'm ashamed that they are. It's got no place in our franchise, and they should cut them out of there.
The teasers made it seem like there was going to be some kind of epic showdown between the two, and they kind of like misled us in order to make it seem like the story was a lot more epic than it was.
No, instead, there's a single cinematic where they punch each other a few times that's non-interactive, yet they market the game as if there's gonna be some big fucking revelation, some big fucking fight, and there's no big fucking fight!
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
What's going on, guys? It is JSnake here, and today, guys, I am bringing you another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the Halo series, more specifically the original 3 Halo games and the more modern Halo games such as Halo 5. And what went wrong? Why Halo kind of was dethroned from being the Xbox poster child? Why people severely disliked the newer Halo titles? And why 343 decided to deviate so far away from the original Halo formula that we all know and loved? Anyways, guys, before we actually get into this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with those post notifications on so you can be notified every single time I do upload a new video. But with that being said, guys, let's get into this video. So right off the bat, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Halo series. I mean, it is one of the biggest video game series of all time, and it is definitely one of the more iconic and memorable video game series. It's had some of the biggest launches on Xbox to date. If you guys actually do go back and look at some Halo 2 or Halo 3 launch party videos, pre-release hype, you will see that there was insane lines out the door. I mean, we're talking like blocks upon blocks of just people lined up just to get the new Halo game, and that's something you don't see anymore. You know, it could be argued that it is down to just considering the fact that most people digitally pre-order games now. But I'd also beg to differ that a lot of it has to do also with the fact that the newer Halo games aren't necessarily as loved, as hyped, as whatever you want to call it. They're not necessarily in the best of terms with the Halo community, with fans of the Xbox, and just with pretty much gamers in general. Now, not only is Halo kind of on bad terms, like I said, with its own fan base, but Halo has a lot of negative attention from people who aren't even necessarily big fans of the game. Now, we have tons of articles, videos, tons of different stuff from multiple different creators that are, you know, not only Halo, they do a bunch of stuff. And they're talking about how Halo is, you know, cosmetically based, and it's basically this economy that is set to steal your money. You know, it's set to make it a grind that is not winnable, so you have to end up actually paying for stuff. And they talk about how it's just boring. Halo's straight up stupid, and Halo's basically straight up copying other games like Call of Duty or Overwatch. And quite frankly, when I first played Halo 4 back in 2012, and when I went right to the multiplayer, the first thing I thought was, wow, this is a hell of a lot like Call of Duty. I'd even argue the campaign felt like Call of Duty. Just some of the moments, it just, like some of those scripted moments in the Halo 4 campaign, even in the first mission, just made me feel like I was playing a Call of Duty game. And that was the first thing I said. I'm never going to forget that, because so many other people said the exact same thing. But yes, it is honestly getting to the point now where Halo is just pretty much just one of those games that comes out and it's not anything special. No one's really too hyped for it. You can have, you know, people get it, oh, people interested to see what happens with the Reclaimer saga, see how it ends. Obviously, Halo Infinite coming out is going to be the conclusion to the Reclaimer saga. And sure, you're going to have people that are interested to see how it ends. Quite frankly, even if it's a bad game, even if it's anything remotely close to Halo 5, I'm still probably going to get it because, you know, I do want to see what happens. And Halo's been, you know, the series that I first picked up on. Halo Combat Evolved, the first pretty much video game I played. I mean, other than, you know, some that like my dad had. And this is, I'm talking when I was like in preschool, kindergarten, even I think before. I was playing Halo very, very early on in my life. It was insane. I was literally like, I don't even think I could talk yet, and I was somewhat playing Halo, I guess you can call it. I was pretty much, you know, let's just say that I was not necessarily playing it correctly. We're gonna leave it at that. I mean, come on. Before preschool, of course I'm not gonna play it correctly. But, you know, Halo's been in my life for pretty much all of it, other than just a couple of years. I mean, it's just been one of those games that I've loved, and I've grew to love the Halo series so much, especially the original 3. Now, here's the thing about the original 3. They're not necessarily, obviously, the same. I feel like they're all good on their own kind of distinct qualities. That's something that is a good thing, by the way, because, you know, I mean, a game could be, you could have a trilogy of games that is good, all in and of themselves, you know, they're it's like a similar thing, a similar theme going on that's making them good. But with the original 3 Halo games, each of them brings something different to the table. Halo Combat Evolved, obviously, the introduction to the story, the game kind of balanced, in my opinion. I thought Halo Combat Evolved was like a mix of Halo 2 and Halo 3. You had your epic moments, you had stuff like the Flood, introduction to the Flood, or you had like the winter battles, or stuff like that on the installations, or the Silent Cartographer, obviously. That was pretty epic. That kind of gave me some Halo 2 vibes. But then you had these like more cinematic epic moments, I guess you can call them, that you kind of see in Halo 3. And yeah, like I said, I thought Halo Combat Evolved did a very nice job of kind of blending these together. Halo 2, obviously, you heard what I just said. It was kind of more that epic and badass feel that kind of just made you feel like, wow, this game is just fucking insane. Like, it's badass. I mean, just listen to the theme song for the game. Good comparison that I've actually got from the Actman when you compare Halo 1 and Halo 2 is that Halo 1 is like the kind of, you know, golden child, the perfect child. Like, it's awesome, it's good at pretty much everything. And then Halo 2 is like that badass little brother, you know? It's a good comparison, and I think it does justice for what Halo 2 actually is. I mean, Halo 2, it had a great story, but it did it in just such a cool way. Halo 2, guys, actually, if you didn't know, is my favorite Halo. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. I think it is one of the most greatest video games of all time. It did receive a little bit of criticism for its cliffhanger ending, and I could see why people thought that was annoying, especially people at the time, because, you know, obviously we had to wait years for Halo 3, just a few years, I think it was 2 or 3. You know, I was very young at the time, so I don't really know. But, you know, it was something that I understood why people got upset with it. But then again, if Halo 2 was, you know, kind of fully completed, then there wouldn't necessarily be a Halo 3. Because if you guys didn't know, Halo 2 was supposed to basically run through all of Halo 3's story, and it was going to finish that and cover that. So, I mean, you know, take it as you please, whether you want 2 good Halo games or 3. Quite frankly, I'm happy with how it went, because with Halo 3, you know, then we obviously had a improvement on, you know, graphics, we had an improvement on the multiplayer, we had Forge, you had all these new things that if you only had these 2 Halo games, then you wouldn't see them there, because, you know, Halo 2 obviously did not come with a Forge, or did not come with this really crazy improved multiplayer, similar to like Halo 3, we don't see file share, or anything like that. And honestly, I'm happy with the way things went. I don't necessarily understand why people are so angry with that. It's not a majority of the people. Majority of the people do actually like Halo 2, but I could, I guess, understand a little bit why people were angry with the cliffhanger ending. But regardless, I thought Halo 2 was the best, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm not saying the other 2, you know, Halo 1 and Halo 3 were bad. Quite frankly, I think Halo 3 is an incredibly close second, like just down to the split, like it's right there but in my opinion, I just like Halo 2 just a little bit better. And speaking of Halo 3, that's the next game that, you know, did obviously come out, and Halo 3, out of any video game trilogy I've ever seen, out of any video game series, any video game saga, anything, I thought Halo 3 had the single most satisfying conclusion to the, obviously, the original Halo trilogy. Halo 3 was literally, like, insane just thinking about it now. At the time, it was one of the most innovative games. I mean, if you compare Halo 2 to Halo 3, Halo 3 is like freaking comparing Black Ops 4 to Call of Duty 3. I mean, it was incredible the amount of things they added with Halo 3, and they were able to add these things without kind of taking away from the narrative hook of the game or any, you know, gameplay elements. They were able to add all of these things that made it look like the game was in development for over a decade. I mean, Halo 3, oh, it was incredible. Not only, like I said, did it have all of these incredible things, like I said, we got Forge, we got File Share, we got an incredibly diverse and giant multiplayer, and, you know, new vehicles, new weapons and everything, but we also got a very satisfying conclusion to the Halo trilogy, which in my opinion is the most important thing. Halo 3, I wish Halo 4 and Halo 5 never came to be, you know, just like I wish they would have just kept doing spin-off games like Halo Reach. But you know what, Halo 3, if you would just think about this, guys, and let Halo 3 end the Master Chief's story, then it would be incredible. I mean, you know, obviously the saying for Spartans is that Spartans never die, they're just missing in action. And, you know, spoiler alert, I hope you guys have played Halo 3 at this point. I mean, if you haven't, it's over a decade old now, so, you know, hopefully you've played Halo 3 and I'm not ruining anything for you. But in the end of Halo 3, Master Chief is obviously on the forward unto dawn, and he's kind of just drifting through space. And, you know, he's obviously assumed dead, but, you know, there's no confirmation, so he's just missing in action, and it just ties so well with, you know, what Halo is, what a Spartan is. And the Master Chief, yeah, he's obviously lived a legendary life. He's saved for humanity more times than I can count. And, you know, it was such a satisfying ending. I thought it was awesome. You know, he's just drifting through space. It was kind of open-ended. You can interpret it as you please. You know, if they would have killed the Master Chief, or the Master Chief would have just came back to Earth, I just feel like it wouldn't have been as good as him, you know, just floating through space. I really like how they did that. I really liked how they kind of, you know, made it look like he died, and at the same time, you know, they also showed him alive. It was just really good how they did it, and I was happy to play as Master Chief in Halo 4 and Halo 5, obviously, but yeah, it was a little underwhelming, and I wish they just would have left it with Halo 3. But with Halo 4 and Halo 5, they really went wrong with the series. Obviously, it is a different game development studio. We're talking 343 versus Bungie here. And quite frankly, if Bungie were to still develop Halo, I'm not saying they'd be good either. I mean, look at Destiny, look how bad Destiny is. Quite frankly, I honestly don't really know if I'd prefer 343 or Bungie at this point, just because of the fact that they're both basically like former shells of themselves. I mean, if you guys don't know, a bunch of 343 employees were actually in Bungie. But the point is, Halo 4 and Halo 5, the biggest issues is that they deviated so far from what people loved. Like I said, Halo 4 and Halo 5 tried to be like this Call of Duty modern FPS shooter, and that's not what people wanted in Halo. That was something that people liked with the Call of Duty games or the Battlefield games or whatever, but they did not like with the Halo games, and it quite frankly did not mix well. Obviously, they basically create a class system in Halo 4, and when I saw that, I was like, what? What is this, man? You know, most of the fun with the original Halo games is that you kind of go around the map and you find these power weapons, or you find a DMR, or you find, you know, the battle rifle, or whatever it happens to be, and now you can just create a class. Like, it just didn't work, in my opinion, and we obviously saw this return with Halo 5, and it did not go over well. The stories of Halo 4 and Halo 5, and I'm not going to say that the Halo 4 story was bad. There's a lot of people that actually liked it, and I'm not saying it was badly written. Quite frankly, it was, you know, a deep story and everything, but the thing is, that's not what Halo is. Halo, all of the Halo games prior to this, a little bit about Reach. Reach, I'm not really going to count. Reach is a little bit, you know, not, you know, following what I'm about to say. But all of the Halo games prior to this have not been remotely close to being, you know, these deep and dark stories like Halo 4 is. Halo 4, quite frankly, is a pretty dark game if you do think about it. But the original Halo games, you know, they've been about like this badass, you know, Master Chief smack fighting these aliens in space. Like, they've never been focused on trying to create this incredibly deep story, but they came off as deep because just what they did and what they were trying to do came off so well. So they didn't need to try and make it deep like Halo 4 or Halo 5. Halo 4 and Halo 5 also obviously completely changed the art style up, and they tried to make it more casual, more kind of friendly, more appealing, and quite frankly, they basically got the opposite effect with that because it looked god awful. It looked trash. I did not like the Halo 4 and Halo 5 art style. I mean, you guys obviously see the gameplay. You guys understand what I'm saying. It was bad. It was bad. It was a train wreck. And yes, with Halo Infinite, they are going back to the original art style, which is good. But, you know, Halo 4 and Halo 5, they just completely dropped the ball in so many different regards. There's just too many to talk about. Like, if I were to talk about every single thing that Halo 4 and Halo 5 did wrong, I would be here for 5 hours straight. And quite frankly, I am not able to make a 5-hour video, and I'm not able to edit. You know, honestly, you get the point. Overall, Halo 4, Halo 5 complete failures. The only hope we have now is Halo Infinite. And like I said, I'm obviously very excited for this. If you guys saw my previous Halo Infinite video I made a while ago, you will know that I do have hope for Halo Infinite. But just like the Call of Duty games, you know, it's just hard to go back. It's almost impossible for them to get their former glory like they were. I mean, think about it, guys. Is Halo Infinite really going to give you this Halo 1, this Halo 2, or this Halo 3 feel? Because it's, quite frankly, I don't think, no matter what they do, don't think it's going to give me that. I just think Halo should have been ended. I don't think they should have made any more Halo games, at least with the Master Chief, after Halo 3. And that's why that I think this game is going to kind of come off negative to me in a little bit of a regard. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but, you know, period. Like I said, I just I don't know. It's never going to be able to retain its former glory. But guys, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it does. It can't really be possible at this point. Anyways, guys, that kind of wraps up with this video. I think I'm going to make a follow-up maybe sometime in the future, just because of the fact that there is a lot of information to be talked about. I tried to skim through it, like I said in this video, and I tried to kind of leave it unedited, more raw, me talking, just so you guys get my full thoughts, because this is not a video like, you know, the Call of Duty videos. This is a video that I made out of pure passion. You know, the Call of Duty videos, like reporting news, that's something I like to edit or cut. But these kind of videos, I'm actually very passionate about, and I want you guys to hear my full thoughts, so I'm not really going to kind of cut this too much. I'm going to do a little bit of editing with the audio. But other than that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you do smash that like button. Guys, thank you so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy this kind of newer style of videos I'm doing, with basically just more quality put into them. Regardless, hope you all have a good day, and peace.